September the 19th, 1961. A seemingly ordinary night for Barney and Betty Hill, a married couple from Portsmouth, New Hampshire, suddenly turns into one of the most famous UFO encounters in American history. Their story would shake the nation, sparking debates about alien abductions that still persist today. But who were Barney and Betty Hill? Barney Hill was a 39-year-old postal worker. Betty Hill was 41 and was a social worker. The Hills were active in their community, involved in civil rights work, and were, by all accounts, a typical hard-working American family. But in the early 1960s, the idea of an interracial couple, Barney being black and Betty being white, was still rather rare, and they faced social pressure because of their marriage. They lived quiet lives, but everything changed on their drive home from a vacation to Canada in 1961. That night, they would experience something so terrifying, so unbelievable, that it would redefine the way many Americans thought about life beyond Earth. It was late at night, on September the 19th, 1961. Barney and Betty were heading home through the desolate white mountains of New Hampshire. They were relaxing in their car, looking out at the scenery and listening to the radio. As Betty gazed out of the window, she noticed something rather odd in the sky. She saw a bright light moving erratically through the sky. At first, she thought it was a shooting star or a satellite, but as the light grew closer, her excitement quickly turned to fear. This was no star, and it certainly wasn't a plane. The couple then stopped the car to get a better look. Barney, an avid birdwatcher, grabbed a pair of binoculars from his glove compartment. He peered through them, and what he saw truly baffled him. He claimed to see what looked like a large pancake-shaped craft hovering above them. Through the binoculars, he could even make out what he described as figures standing in the window of the ship. Panicked, Barney told Betty to get back in the car. He floored the gas pedal, desperate to escape. But as they sped down the dark, winding road, an overwhelming feeling of dread set in. The couple couldn't shake the sense that they were being chased. What happened next remains one of the most controversial moments in UFO history. According to the Hills, something strange happened. They couldn't explain it, but they suddenly found themselves in a different location, 35 miles further along the road, with no memory of how they had gotten there. Feeling nauseous, they both re-entered their vehicle. However, after looking at the clock, they noticed 2 hours had passed, but to them, it felt only like minutes. They couldn't account for the missing time, and the confusion left them feeling uneasy, as if something had happened to them during those lost hours that their minds couldn't reach. Both of them felt disorientated, as if they had lost track of reality itself. They couldn't explain the missing time, a sensation that would haunt them long after that night. As they arrived home, they discussed what could have happened. They both sat down, had something to drink and eat, and then eventually went to bed. However, Betty began having vivid nightmares of being taken aboard a strange craft, lying on an examination table while strange humanoid beings conducted medical experiments on her and Barney. As the days went on, their anxiety only deepened, and odd physical clues began to emerge. Barney's shoes were scuffed in a way as if he had been dragged. Betty's dress had a mysterious pink powder on it that baffled everyone. These small, unexplainable details hinted at something more sinister lurking beneath their conscious memories. In desperation, the Hills turned to a Boston psychiatrist who specialized in hypnosis, Dr. Benjamin Simon. Under hypnosis, both Barney and Betty relived terrifying accounts of being abducted by extraterrestrial beings.
And the examiner has a long needle in his hand. And it's bigger than any needle I've ever seen. And I asked him what he's going to do with it. And he said, just a simple test, it won't hurt me. And I asked him what. And he said he just wants to put it in my navel. And it's just a simple test. And I told him, no, it won't hurt. Don't do it. Don't do it. And even though it won't hurt. And he sticks a needle into my navel. And I'm crying and I tell him it's hurting out. And then the leader, he goes over and he puts his hand, runs his hand in front of my eyes, and he says, I'll be all right. I won't feel it. And all the pain goes away. I asked the leader, I said, why did they stick the needle in my navel? And he said it was a pregnancy test.
During their sessions, the memories of that missing time came flooding back. Barney described humanoid creatures with large dark eyes and thin bodies. They communicated telepathically, performing invasive medical tests on him while he was paralyzed with fear. Betty's accounts under hypnosis were even more detailed, recalling being shown a star map by the beings as if they were revealing the place they had come from, a different part of the galaxy.
She had an opportunity to speak with the leader of the aliens.
When I asked the leader where he was from, I said, I know you're not from this planet. And this is when I saw the star map. It looked almost like I was looking out a window. It had dimension to it. It was about 3 or 4 feet long and about 2 feet high. There were all these balls of light in it. And the leader explained to me that the heavy lines were places they go all the time or frequently. The broken lines were expeditions. He asked me if I knew where I was on the map. And I told him no, that I knew nothing about astronomy. And so he said if I did not know where I was on the map, then there was no point of trying to explain it to me. I just didn't have the necessary knowledge.
Betty drew the star map she had seen on board the spacecraft, and it appeared in her book. Because there was no indication of which star was the sun, the best way that this map could be interpreted would be to build a large, three-dimensional model of the sun and all the stars near the sun.
The Hills' account of their alien abduction became national news. Their story of lost time, missing memories, brought back under hypnosis, left many questioning what truly happened that night. Skeptics dismissed their story as a hallucination or shared delusion, but others believed that their memories were far too specific to be dismissed. Over the years, many have questioned the validity of the Hills' experience. Could the missing time be explained by sleep deprivation, stress from their long drive, or was it something far more extraordinary? The blank 2-hour time period remained at the heart of the mystery. Despite the controversy, Barney and Betty Hill stood by their story for the rest of their lives. They never sought fame or money from their experience, only a desire to understand what happened to them on that lonely road in the White Mountains. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think about this case in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.